All right, do you guys see it yet?
It's recording now, but it'll pop up in a second.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fuck!
What is wrong with you? I do that shit so we can count it down and edit it. Fuck off.
But then we never do it. We never
Hello
edit it.
and welcome to the Barcast, where the bar gets lower every week.
Around town.
God damn it. This week, your bartenders for this evening will be a non-pencil,
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
Milk,
Yeah.
Enigmatic Otaku,
I taught someone something today.
Flyman Warfer,
I shake twice, but when no one's looking, I shake 3 times.
Ravage.
Hello.
And my name's Flutter Priest. This week, we have a very special guest to continue Equestria Daily Month! Because that's the thing, and we're doing it and we're almost done. Kind of. His name is Pascoite. Pascoite, thank you for joining us this week.
Well, thank you for having me. I look forward to a very cultured discussion.
Oh yes, we're only sophisticated here. For those of you who are just tuning in to the Barcast for the first time, I'm sorry. Also, we are a user-submitted podcast where you ask for the guests, we get them, and then you ask the questions, and we make them miserable for 2 hours.
It's true.
We have a whole slew of user-submitted questions out on our official Film Fiction group, and of course, we're streaming live right now on Twitch. You can go ahead and ask questions there into our chat, and it will appear on the screen. And of course, the lovely Anon Pencil will field those questions and ask them to our guests if they are deemed appropriate. Pencil, what is an example of a question that you will not ask our guest?
Well, the tradition has always been don't ask the guest about their penis, but I'm getting the feeling that Pascoite can handle this shit. So, really, follow the rules. Don't ask about religion or politics or age or anything like that. But other than that, you know what? If you want to ask about penises, today is a penis day. We've talked about penises so much already. Let's talk about penises.
It is indeed
ask
Penis Inspection Day.
Ask anything you'd like. And we have a drinking word, don't we, Milk? Milk.
Like I've completely blanked.
Well, the drinking word is, well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then.
Pick up your drinks. It's Saturday. Let's get stupid drunk and ask somebody respectable questions.
Of course. So let's jump into actual interview questions. Woo. Pascoite, Pabsy. But no, scratch that. Cut that out of the video. Who are you, and what have you done for the fandom?
Well, I've written a crap ton of stories in metric units, that is. And I've been an Equestria Daily pre-reader since summer 2012. And I've helped lots and lots and lots of people doing private reviews when they want help with their stories. So I have a lot of fun doing that, and I still do it.
Awesome. Are there any stories that you've reviewed, helped with, that you are personally proud of?
Yeah.
Is he still here? Did he cut out?
Oh no.
Just out Hap a lot with Lilies of the Field, which was just featured on Seattle's Angels today. And I stuck with all of the BioShock crossovers that Gap Jaxie did. That took forever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will add a couple of these to the groups. You can find them if you go to the Barcast. The highlighted stories for guests.
And while we're picking up other highlighted stories for guests, if someone would like to start reading your fan fiction, what would you suggest?
I find it interesting, years later, when I go back to read old stories, and there are plenty of authors there that hate to go back and read their old work. I actually kind of like to, but it's interesting to me which ones I don't care to read anymore. The ones I like the best of my own, my favorite two, which I'd have a hard time picking between them. One's called Ambergris. It's a Adagio Dazzle redemption story.
I know the
Sunset
story.
Shimmer helping her. That's the one I most find myself going back to read. And my favorite on the other lighthearted side is one called Dinkin' Donuts. That one was really fun.
Oh, I love that one.
And the other two I probably like best are there's a dark one called In Bloom, and a sad one called If Memory Serves.
Cool.
That's one with that's one with Rarity, right?
Yes, Rarity has a
Excellent.
guest visiting her for tea.
Too. I know a lot of your stories. I'm finding out.
Pascoite's horse famous.
Uh,
Dust off
kinda.
my shoulders. So next question. How did you get into the fandom?
Well, everyone take a drink. I for some reason I used to hang out on cheeseburger.com.
Man.
They had a lot of pony memes on there, and I thought that they were just stupid things that people were actually posting and making fun of the show. And then it turned out a lot of the jokes were actually from the show. So, hey, it's not just people being funny, the show's actually funny. So I gave it a shot and I was hooked. That was between seasons 1 and 2. So I season 1 and then was there for the season 2 premiere.
Cool. Next question. What is your favorite part of our little fandom? The online community, fanfics, cons, music, art.
I like the fanfic side of things because that's really the main one that I actually. But it's kind of sad to see the fanfic community winding down these days because there was a time where there was a huge support structure in place, and there were people would go to PonyChan and drop their stories off there for review, and there was a crew of people who would all read your story, give you feedback, and just huge number of people all supporting each other. And there's still a lot of that goes on, but it's kind of hard to find, and on a case-by-case basis, there's not a really big organized place to do that anymore. And all these review groups that used to exist, like Right, they're kind of gone now.
Yeah, I can totally feel you there. That's why we're trying to do this whole kind of Barcast thing to kind of inject a little life and help some real horses and shit like that. You know how it is.
Yes.
Anyway, next question. If there is one thing you could say to your followers, your fans, what would it be?
It would have to be that thank you very much for even reading my stuff, because I'm not a trained author by any means, and it amazes me the absolute number of people that are around here that you post a silly pony story online and hundreds of people come by to read it. It's a wonderful feeling.
And is there anything you'd say to your haters?
Well, you can't take anything personally here. I don't know of too many specific people that just kind of hate stuff I write just because I'm the one who wrote it. So I don't even interact with those people.
Smart.
Not even sure who my haters are.
Don't feed the parasprites.
Wow.
What? We went back into cheeseburger.com for a minute here. I get to say an old meme. It's okay. Anyway, so we have one final act. Did you just call me a loser?
No.
Okay.
It was toothpaste tube. It's got kind of rhymes with loser.
Yeah, obviously. That's what I said.
Okay, so final question. And this one's a doozy. We said we weren't gonna get political, and we lied. It's okay. So deep breath. Fine. We'll be over in a second. Who is best pony?
Rarity.
You shut your dirty mouth.
We've got a lot of rarities, like a lot of rarities.
I like her the best because I find her to be the most complex and therefore the most realistic.
I
Now,
thought she was shallow.
well, she can be. There's something that and you'll love this, there's something I call the butt test, and it's not what you're thinking.
Damn it.
If this applies to fan fiction as well. If you're going to describe a character in just a few sentences, how many times do you have to use the word butt to get out? So for her, there's a lot of internal contradictions. She's very generous, but she can be selfish at times. She's, loves good fashion, but she's not above helping her friends out, things like that, to where characters have these internal contradictions. The more you have, the more interesting a character it is.
Well, you know what? I agree. I would use butt a lot for rarity.
I agree with that, but at the same time, me being who I am, now I can't stop thinking about a fanfic that someone is probably going to make now called The Butt Test.
They probably will, and
It'll be bendy.
I come up with very bad story ideas all the time, and I pitched them to Present Perfect, and he says, "Yeah, that's a bad idea. I don't want it." Then I go, yes. Then I go pitch them to either Majin
Majin, yes.
Oh, Majin.
or to Princess Deluxe Magnum.
Oh, Deluxe Magnum's cool.
Yes.
If
And
any
usually
of the-
one of them pick up these terrible ideas. I'm still waiting on Majin to write like 4 of them.
Majin is such a sweetie too.
He is. Yeah, I pitched 4 great ideas to him. I'm just waiting. Come on, Majin, write them.
Well, if you ever get impatient, waves hand urgently. I'm over here. You know where I am.
If you want to write, I'll give you one of these ideas right now. Majin liked this one.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
in
Hit
Daring
me.
Done,
Okay.
in Daring Done, they made some sort of a reference to recent perisprite damage in Philadelphia. Well, back in season 1 in Swarm of the Century, town, Celestia was supposed to stop by, but she did not stay there very long because she said she had to go take care of a perisprite infestation in Philadelphia. Has this been going on for 6 years?
Oh shit.
Priest, you're never gonna finish off his love, are you?
Probably never. No. Fuck it.
But that's also assuming that the time between each season is 1 year, or each season lasts 1 year. So
Even then, it's been a while. It's been a fucking while, no matter how you
True.
swing it.
I mean, it's
Kate-
at least been a
Kate-
couple. It's at least been a couple.
Yeah.
They're-
Cadence did not just wake up one night and vomit up Flurry Heart.
Yes, she vomited it. That's how babies are made, Enigma. It's okay.
Well, vomiting can mean many things, but I guess it depends where she vomited it from.
I mean,
Do you shut your mouth? I do not want to think about vagina vomiting.
we call that unfrozen.
Vomit
Here's one for you,
an
Priest.
old toothpaste tube.
Oh, damn, the toothpaste is just gonna keep coming back, isn't it?
Once the umbilical cord slipped out of her, did she shake twice?
Do we need to
Oh,
explain this
yeah.
joke before we reference it like 10 times on this cast?
No, we don't.
No,
No.
we don't. And also,
Priest.
Enigma, the umbilical cord doesn't just kind of come out of the mom on its own. Like, where do you think that happens? Like, you think the umbilical cord just comes out of the woman and sits there, like, flopping around like a hose or something, Enigma?
It is.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of those fire hoses that are thrashing around and you got to wrestle it to the floor?
It's
You
just
gotta tie it
spraying.
off or else the baby loses all of its fluids.
The doctor grabs it and has to tie it into a knot.
No,
Pretty
the
much,
umbilical
yes, just-
the umbilical cord is actually there, so when the baby sees its mom, it can choose whether to hang itself or not.
Oh!
Oh my god! Okay, let's
Well,
move on
then.
before this gets worse.
We're gonna move on. Holy shit. I had a train of thought. Oh, I'm gonna politely decline your story idea. Okay.
Oh,
Chat Penguin Lips has the very first question, and it says, "What is your funniest anecdote, Pascoite?" So, like, a story you would tell at a bar to make people laugh.
Pretty much.
anecdote. Now, he didn't restrict that to pony-related anecdote, I see.
Oh,
He
it
did
can
not.
be anything.
He did not. Well, okay, Pony one. There's always anecdotes when you're around Seth, just because he's random and he won't remember stuff he does the next day.
I can
So it's-
totally understand.
Yes. So frequently we'll be in chat with him and he'll just say something random. Oh, I'm going to go do this. And then he's gone to do it. Like one day he said, oh, it's hailing outside. I've always wondered what it's going to feel like to get hit by hail. So he goes outside and 10 minutes later he comes back and says, it would be. That's Seth for you.
Oh man, no, I totally feel you. So, slight aside, we did have Seth scheduled for next week, kind of. He
Yeah,
said
he's-
he
he's in a
said,
few
"Oh
weeks,
yeah,
right?
no, let's do it." Like I hit him at the beginning of the month, like, "Is this gonna work? Like, is this date gonna work?" He goes, "I don't know. Hit me up next week." And then he goes, "I don't know. Hit me up next week. I don't know. Hit me up next week." So it's like yesterday, and I go, "Does next week work?" And he goes, "Oh, it turns out I'm gonna be in Cali next week." It's like, holy shit! How do you not know if you're gonna go on a trip?
Yeah, that's the way he works.
But it's all good. We've got him for 2 weeks out. Next week we got Seventh Heaven. Anyway,
I was like, Priest, are you just like talking trash about one of our future guests?
No, I'm not talking trash at all. Just like I totally understand. And we've had other Equestria Daily people on before that are like, oh, you got to ask Seth what his scheme is this month and stuff like that.
Ask him what ponies he's currently infatuated with, because the list changes daily.
Wait, so it's not Trixie all the time.
Oh, no. No, years past, it would be for a week, oh, Celestia's so great. And then the next week, I just love Twilight. And then Lyra. Right now, let's see, he has just disavowed Vapor Trail.
Man, he just goes through waifus like it's nothing.
Well, through it all,
Like
there's
it's
always
great.
Trixie, and through it all, there's always Sweet Velvet.
You know, from all his antics I'm hearing, you guys kind of describe him like Kramer.
That's probably not too far from the truth.
Except probably
Wow.
the whole racism part. But
Let's not talk about that.
Moving on. Thank you, Flam. We have questions from Two Mare, who starts by saying, boop. Question for
No,
Phagosite.
wait. Priest.
What?
Let Pascoite respond to the boop.
Oh, I didn't quite hear the boop. Can you do that again?
Boop.
Yeah, that's the spot.
Wow. Okay.
No, shake furiously.
Two
Now we-
shakes, that's all.
Now we have
take two, they're small.
a question for Phagosite.
Phagosite.
Yes.
Interesting. Some kind of a disease-causing cell now?
That's Phagocyte. It does.
Number 1. What is your fetish? It's okay. You're among friends here. We won't, asterisk, it actually means will, judge you
Yes.
for being turned on by the thought of a filly getting pregnant and fucking the fetus while it's being born.
That's an incredibly specific I won't mock you for that thing. I can't say I actually have a fetish. I stay away from the clop side of the fandom, really. Not because I think it's immoral or something. It just doesn't interest me.
So
I-
For its kind of fun, naive sense, and so I just don't gravitate toward the side of the fandom that does that. But I mean, then some of my favorite of my own stories are really sad and dark things. So yeah, didn't see that coming.
So,
I
so
call
you're not a
bullshit.
complete Ned Flanders?
Pencil calls bullshit?
I call bullshit on you not having a fetish. Everyone has a fetish. Even if somebody's like, you know what my fetish is? I like brown hair. Like everybody has a fetish. It's even if it's something subtle and small. Maybe your fetish is missionary position sex, sweet and loving with somebody who you care about. Like you gotta have something. Either that or maybe you're asexual, in which case your fetish is not having sex. So there you go.
Well, if we're, I took the question at first to mean within the confines of pony.
Oh, that's more reasonable. I was like, no, you don't get to say I don't have a fetish. No one does that.
Well, nothing too out there. I gotta say I like thigh highs.
No, that's great.
Hey, man of good taste. All right. Next question.
I remember a guy at my old job. We would have discussions like this over lunch, and you like them with or without the garter belts? I said without. He said, "Damn right."
Oh, okay. Number 2. What's your all-time favorite collection of horse words?
That's not a great question for me, just because I don't read that much. I get it.
Ooh.
Yes. You would think so, right? No, in the last 4 years, I have probably read fewer than 10 stories just because I wanted to. I am kept so busy by all the stuff that gets sent into Equestria Daily, I just don't even have time to do that. So if I'm going to pick a story I really like, it's going to be one that was sent in. It's not going to be one that someone recommended to me and I read just for the heck of it.
So that's actually really interesting. When you say that you've read maybe 10 over the course of the last 4 years, it's not because you've only read 10 stories, but because you don't consider the Equestria Daily stories that you've read to be like reading for enjoyment.
Read because I have to, and I do end up enjoying a fair number of them. It kind of sticks in my mind, and just for one particular reason. There's a story that Present Perfect wrote called So Her Legacy Will Endure. that story. It's kind of show tone. It's not the kind of thing you read and you're just wowed by how powerful it is and how elegant the wording is. But I thought it was a great study in characterization. He has Twist in it as one of the sidekicks and Marigold, and I forget who the third girl is, but he gives them all these great little personality quirks, and they come right off the page. It was very interesting to read that. I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool. Number 3. Either adopt Scootaloo or any other filly or colt of your choice and stay single forever, or marry waifu Pone, but never adopt or conceive.
I'm not a big kid person. I do have one, but I would probably be a whole lot better off with marry the pony waifu and never have kids than take on a kid and not ever marry.
Okay. Number 4. Hi.
There. How are you doing? You can come closer.
Whoa.
Oh.
Diddly.
Oh.
You channeled like a really creepy Mr. Rogers there, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Well,
Hi there, neighbor.
Exactly. Holy shit.
You can come into my house now. Don't worry. You can sit on the couch. I don't mind.
Hero, he's the great saintly man. Don't you dare ruin him for me.
Would you like to follow the trolley into the basement?
Fucking stop!
Oh man.
Number 5! Number 5!
Fred Rogers was one
In Equestria.
had reputation for being nasty to the neighbors' kids where he really lived.
Aw, don't do this to me. Stop.
I guess he really did enjoy having them as neighbors then.
Guys. We are ruining a childhood icon again!
That is my job.
Next, you're gonna tell me. Next,
Well,
you're gonna tell me.
here, I've got one for you. Did you know
Don't.
he was a Marine sniper?
He was not. Stop
What?
this. No, he was not. No, he actually wasn't. This is a rumor that has spread about him that I've seen over and over. And it's like, yeah, he's covered in tattoos. He was fucking not. Anyway,
Next, you guys are gonna tell me that Zabumafu ripped the face off someone.
probably.
I think that was just a creepypasta that someone wrote. Anyway, moving on. Number 5. In Equestria, be a unicorn with ED, a Pegasus with arthritis, or an Earth pony with the pony equivalent of HIV. All of them are incurable with magic or anything else.
Well, the Pegasus one is the easiest to deal with, I gotta say. Yeah, maybe you can't flap your wings as well, or with the aching in your joints, I got to imagine it would be harder to get to that third shake. So then you're not going to be accused.
I was
Yeah,
gonna make
baby.
a comment about. Oh god, I was gonna make a comment about how if you had a unicorn, if you were a unicorn with erectile dysfunction, you have a horn you could use. So how much have you really lost there? But now I have thoughts in my head that I can't get out. Thank you for that.
Well, actually, no, you're quite right. You could go two ways with that. You could use the horn itself, or hey, cast a levitation spell. What does ED matter then?
Yeah, you could
Well, I mean, then you just have this, like, floppy, like, limpy dick.
Well,
Sure,
yeah,
it's
but
great, but it's...
you can shake it at traffic.
Oh my god.
I have no wings, and I must shake.
Oh,
Oh my god! And we're just not going to explain this joke to anyone.
no, we're not.
No. Okay. Now, questions from RK Striker JK5. He starts by asking, what is your favorite non-MLP franchise?
Oh, the one I've been watching longest would have to be Star Trek. I started out hating that show. Yeah.
Oh.
When I got home from school, you'd have the cartoons on, and then they would cut to the old original Star Trek series. And I really did not like the show at all, but I watched it because, hey, the TV's on, and what else are you going to do? And after about 3 years of having that beat into my head, I started liking it, and I've never turned back.
Proud of you. Proud of you for doing that. In the chat, Alex _ says, floppy limpy dick is my new favorite OC.
So does this pony look like Mr. Rogers?
No! Stop!
Okay, now not only do I want see someone make a sculpture of that OC. I want it functional.
Like it was like you pick it up and it just does a little waggle.
Yeah.
It's like the only part of the statue that has like rubber. So it's like it has like anime titty physics. Like
I was gonna say, isn't it one of those dipping birds that like puts its head in the water cup over and over again? It just does that all day.
except it's just with its dick, it just goes down and then up and flicks for a little bit and then down, flicks for a little bit.
Oh my god.
If that counts as a shake, you can only do it twice.
Oh my god. Second question from Striker. Have you written anything for anything non My Little Pony related?
A long, long time ago, yes. But yeah, I picked up fan fiction for My Little Pony in 2011, and that's all I've written so far. And before that, I never really had a chance to. In high school, we would get writing assignments sometimes where you would have the option of doing creative writing if you wanted to, and I would always choose that. So I wrote a couple of short Star Trek stories way back then. But other than that, no, MLP is the only fan fiction I've ever written.
Cool. The next set of questions. First question from the other guy. Make up a pony slur for zebras, griffins, and minotaurs.
Oh, geez. This is going to be tough.
Zebra one is easy.
You could. See, I'll go ahead and apologize for this because Nick's quickly on his feet. And I went into this interview not having read any of the questions posted on the thread just because I figured, hey, why not?
No,
Have
it's
them
all
come as a
good.
surprise to me.
Go and
Yep.
dry, it helps.
So I'm just running off the top of my head here, and my brain really slows down when I do that. So let's see. Zebras. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble.
Nothing will get you in trouble when it comes to, the horrible things you're about to say for this one question.
We won't tell Seth, I promise.
Oh, I don't know that Seth likes zebras anyway. Zebras, griffins, and what? Minotaurs?
Yes.
Mhm.
I could sit for half an hour and not come up with anything. I probably could.
Well, we've got one in the chat from Toomer.
Tumor?
Toomer says ziggers, griggers, and minigers.
Oh my
Just had to relay this.
Wow!
That last one sounds like a term of endearment. My niggers.
Wow! Can we not say that word, please?
Yeah.
Please! I'm gonna have to go through and bleep that!
That's not okay.
God damn it!
Jesus Christ!
Besides, it says minoggers.
Did we really just get somebody to say that and it wasn't me? Like, I'm disappointed by the fact it wasn't me this time. I'm like,
Wow!
that's not fair. Okay, I'm going back to sleep.
We just lost all of our sponsorships! Good night, everybody!
They're after me.
Alright. You live near Compton!
Say that like if somebody heard
Getting a
you.
visit.
Oh, okay,
Probably will
sorry.
be.
Clearly, the
Okay.
word is Monica. Thank you very much.
Do we need to move on?
Well,
At this point, I'm
probably.
worried for the legalities.
I'm with Rav on this one. Well, I think so.
Okay, now for fan of most everything. Foamy. Question. If I were to make a golem out of your namesake mineral, what are the
Yes.
odds it would have your personality?
Oh, very, very low it would have my personality. And I'll tell you why. I'll go ahead and click over to another tab and let me look this up because I don't want to get it wrong. I'm on mindat.org, looking at Pascoite, scrolling down to the mineral data. There it is. This says that Pascoite has distinct and good cleavage.
What?
Would you say
Yes.
that? Would you say that mountains also have cleavage?
Enigma, shut the fuck
Let
up.
him answer. Let him answer.
If I go over to the Rocky Mountains, no, the individual minerals in them could. The mountains themselves don't. But if you're talking about the mountains on, say, fan art of Sunset Shimmer, then sure.
Okay.
I'll accept it.
Next question from Tony Montana. Why is film fiction better than Equestria Daily?
Oh.
It depends on what you want to use it for. It's better for Equestria Daily is more a way of spotlighting on fan fiction what the good stories are, but of course there are multiple forums for doing that. Fan fiction's got more built-in socializations, I guess. All the groups and blogs and such.
No, I think
The
you have a
biggest
really
thing
good.
is that it's more of a socialization.
So let me ask you this, because I think we've seen a lot of questions that try to point towards this, but no one's like asked it directly. So let me relay this to you. How would you compare, obviously comparatively, an Equestria Daily feature versus a film fiction feature?
I didn't catch the last bit of that. I think the sound cut out.
Okay, I'll repeat that. How would you compare an Equestria Daily feature versus a film fiction feature?
Okay, now by fan fiction feature, do you mean just by virtue of the story being posted there, or do you mean by, say, something like Seattle's Angels featuring it, or by getting into the feature box?
The feature box, the box of shame.
Okay. I think an Equestria Daily feature is a much better indicator that it's going to be a quality story than the feature box is. But there certainly are quality stories that get into the feature box, so it's not like automatically a story that gets in there is a bad one. If you're looking more at viewer count, Equestria Daily, and I track this stuff a lot, Equestria Daily still is the more reliable way to get the number of views, but it doesn't get you as many as it used to, just because it used to be pretty much the only recommendation service out there. An average story that gets on Equestria Daily can usually count on about 500 readers coming from that recommendation. Something getting in the feature box, unless it stays in there a whole week, is only going to get about that much too. So, like if I get a story on Equestria Daily, I usually get somewhere between 500 and 1,000 views out of it. If I make the feature box and it stays there a few days, I get an additional 300 or 400 views out of that. And if Present Perfect puts it in his review blog, or I post it on Reddit, or back when they were still around, the Royal Guard featured it, each one of those might get me another 40 or 50 views. So,
Right.
I mean, Equestria Daily is still one of the best ways out there to increase your audience. It's a pretty reliable way to ensure that it's a good story. Say that what's in the feature box can't be good. It's just likely getting in there for different reasons.
Totally fair answer. All right. So next question comes from RB-47, who used to run the Pony Fiction Vault.
Yes.
Which of your stories are you most proud of?
Well, this just goes back to which ones are my favorites of my own again, pretty much. The one I'm most proud of is probably Ambergris. I do really like Dinkin' Donuts, and Dinkin' Donuts is an odd bird in that something that's happened to me a number of times. It seems like if I've got a few stories I want to write, so I put a whole lot of time into writing this one, and then there's another one that I just kind of treat as an afterthought. And this happens when I used to compete in these minific write-offs. You have to submit stories that are between 400 and 750 words each. So you can enter multiple ones, and I might come up with 3 that I think are great ideas, and there's a 4th one that's just kind of an afterthought. I barely put any work into it, and yet it's the one that does the best. And the same thing happened with Dinkin' Donuts. I wrote it just as kind of an afterthought. It was Obsolescence put together a Christmas story exchange one time.
The Jingle Miss, right?
Yes. Yeah, you just put in a the name of a character and a backup one that you would like to see a story about, and he secretly switched it with someone else. So a guy named Dark Darcy is the name I drew, and he wanted a story about Dinky. So I just wrote this Christmas story about Dinky over the course of maybe just 2 or 3 weeks, and got into it, but it just turned out great. It's a really fun story.
Sweet. All right, now we have questions from Some Bro for Life. First question: what is your favorite video game?
Now this goes back a long way because I have not actually purchased a video game since 2007.
Oh my, that's commitment to not purchasing video games.
I don't have the time anymore, and I don't really have the hardware to run much. Purchased was the Neverwinter Nights Diamond Edition.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
I know somebody who
Bringing
worked on
back
that game.
memories.
Yeah, so favorite game, probably the first Knights of the Old Republic.
Nice.
You're a good person.
Nice choice.
You can
I
stay.
went through a whole bunch of those old Star Wars games. So, I mean, Doom came out when I was in middle school. So when I was in college, then the first person shooter Star Wars game, Dark Forces, came out. So I got that, loved it, and then they played that into the Jedi Knight series. Jedi Knight, Jedi 2, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. They were all
What do you
great.
think of KOTOR 2?
KOTOR 2, the plot sucked.
Thank
But
you.
the gameplay was still fun.
Yes, I have a hard on for that game until the end, so I'm curious.
Why is the ending bad? I must say.
Because they ran out of time and money, and it was they had like whole planets that are just chilling there unfinished, being like, hey, look, we didn't have time, and it's incredibly buggy. Like, oh my god, that game was beautifully buggy.
Oh yeah, that's why I played it with the restored content mod, and that game just became like 200 times better and better than
Right.
KOTOR 1 in my opinion.
With the restored data, it's much better. But playing it just the first time through when I first got it, I was like, oh my god, it's so broken. This is the best.
Oh no, I agree in that respect. Yeah, I just thought everyone did it with the restored content because it was just terrible without it.
No, some of us actually like bought and played the game.
Like,
Yeah,
Wait,
I
don't
just
you
played
mean
the
like the
original.
way it was intended?
Yes.
Yeah.
How
oh yeah,
dare
the
you.
way it was intended. Yeah, towards the latter half, things didn't make sense,
No.
and then once you got the restored content, things make sense canonically. It's like, oh, okay.
But they straight up acknowledged it too. Like if you bother in the first sequence, if you bother one of the characters a couple of times, one of his dialogue options is seriously just, oh yeah, we ran out of time for everything, and it's just like one of the people who was making the game sounding off on how much they hate the time limits and money limits that's caused them so much trouble with the ending of the game.
God damn, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I need to find that then.
Plus, it
Wow.
had the very transparent shipping bait in it. So
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like any game, you can pick to play as a male or female character, and so you just know there's somewhere in the game where you're going to end up with either this one or that one based on your choice. So
But you never actually do though.
Well,
not
no,
really, but you
can
get
be
to
a
make
super-
all kinds of sappy little dialogue with them, and it's so sweet.
You could be a super lesbian if you want to.
Yeah, which that's fine. But yeah, I was just glad they didn't actually couple people in there until like it's implied once the game ends. But
Well,
Anyway, now I'm like, who's your OTP? And like, I could just go off on this game forever. I'm sorry.
Rav is drinking.
We'll talk
all.
later.
What's up, Rav?
Thank you.
so I have a question then. Given that you don't play games anymore, apparently, of any of the games that you've seen recently, any of the previews, what game would you like to play?
See, I don't even get exposed to games that much since I don't have the computer necessary to play them. I mean, I see some commercials on TV and whatever people are going on about in chat, but I know Professor Plum really likes playing his Mech Warrior game, and I don't know that it's a new release of it or not, but we've discussed it a few times, and it's pretty much the same Mech Warrior game that I played long ago.
Yeah,
I really liked that game.
It basically runs on the same rule system that the tabletop game used to be too.
Yes.
Yeah.
On that one stupid mission where there's a truck convoy that you have to blow up, and then these drop ships start launching, and you can never get enough shots against them to take them down. And I got stuck on that mission.
Speaking of missions, question number 2: what is your favorite boss fight in a game?
Ooh.
Boss fight. Well, I will tell you right now, I have never been a fan of boss fights in games. And
Ooh.
yes, and Nighty absolutely will just rip into me about that. I much prefer a game where they try and overwhelm you with numbers rather than one big guy you have to fight.
Overwhelm me with numbers. So are you more of a Frog Factions or a Jumpstart kind of kid?
I didn't catch the first part of that. The sound kicked out, I think.
Oh, Frog Fractions or Jumpstart. I'm asking in jest and joking in a joke that only I think is funny.
Well, I remember playing one called, it was another Star Wars game, Republic Commando. It was a first-person shooter, kind of RPG too, because you had a team you could control. But that had waypoints in it where once you got past a certain door, then it would trip that the next set of enemies were the ones that you were going to fight now. But until you went and cleared that objective, just endless numbers of them would keep coming at you, and you could sit there and pick them all off, and it could get really hard. So I have more fun playing a game where the last level is that they just swarm you rather than you got one big baddie to fight. But of the boss fights I have enjoyed, the biggest ones would be the first Jedi Knight game. A lot of lightsaber duels. I didn't like the last couple bosses in the game. You have to fight, I think it was 7 of them through the course of the game. Were very interesting fights. The guys at the end just... It was too easy to cheat. I mean, I know this stuff all happens in any game where you can find some little trick that makes the boss very easy to kill.
Right.
In the last one at Jedi Knight, when you've got him almost dead, he makes a run for this healing place, and if you just wedge yourself in between him and the door, he keeps trying to get past you, but he can't, and you just hack at him until he's dead.
That's wonderful.
See, now I would argue that mini bosses are worse than regular boss fights because usually they require some like depending on the game, like some skill set that you need that you don't have because they're somewhere between the level enemies and the final enemy, the boss. I will bring up the example. What was the name of the game? Force Unleashed, where they had these mini bosses, which were usually the AT walkers or what are they called? What are they called? The thing that almost ate Luke in the
Rancor.
Yeah, and you get a Rancor, and it's not even a real boss. It's just like a mini boss. They stuck into the level, and it's like
I will
skill
agree
that
with
you don't have to fight it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. There were several of the Jedi Knight games where you had to fight a Rancor monster in one of the levels.
Oh, I know, the Rancor Pit. I have that game. The Rancor Pit sucked.
There was one like that too in Neverwinter Nights. There's one game where you're dead and you're going through the underworld. At one point, you walk into a cave and there's 4, maybe I'm not remembering that right. I think there's more of them. There were like 5 or 6 guys you had to fight that were all supercharged. And that was a tough fight. And then when you get to the end of the game and you're actually fighting the big bad demon, he's not that bad.
Yeah. Aren't disappointing final bosses the worst?
Well, moving on, because we still have a shit ton of questions.
Well.
Number 3. Have you accepted Skeletor, the master of the universe, into your heart?
Naturally, because he's the only person that you can declare a skullfuck on, and he'll actually do it.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm so happy.
Number 4. You are in itty bitty Equine City. What business do you start?
Naturally, I start a business for people who collect rocks and minerals.
Speaking of rocks and minerals.
Yay!
Number
Is that a
5. Yes, it does. What kind of rock would you take as your waifu?
Rock as my waifu. That's a good question. I would have to say soapstone because it's nice and soft. Anything else would probably chafe.
I didn't see you going there with that. Okay. Number 6. I need to know for a friend, how long does it take to die of laughter?
A few experiments on that. One guy I managed to keep alive for about 6 months. But, I guess my record is maybe. That one was a disappointment.
Oh.
Uh-oh, an earthquake.
Flame, are we gonna feel an
I
aftershock?
was trying to keep that in the DL.
Oh no.
Are we gonna feel it? Are we gonna feel an
We just
aftershock?
had one.
I don't feel
It was probably
anything.
like a little 2.0 or something. It was just a little bit of shaking. That was it.
Oh, so the earth shake twice.
2 earthquakes in my life, and one of them I couldn't feel because I was in the car.
Oh, I've been through. I go through like an earthquake a week. Apparently, it was a 1.3. So yeah, it was
So
a
the
little
earth-
itty bitty thing. That was nothing.
Nothing.
The earth shake twice beneath you.
That's checking.
Number 7. Do you even praise, bro?
I don't think I heard that one.
Do you even praise, bro?
Well, of course I do. All praise to Luna.
All right, son, bro. All right. Now, okay. Now questions from Trickster Forrester. Hello, Pascoite.
Pascoite.
Time for questioning. If a jogger runs at the speed of sound, can he still hear his iPod?
Yes, he can. Easy answer.
Number 2. Why aren't blueberries blue?
Well, they are if you dye them blue. They're kind of blue.
Why would you? Oh, okay.
I'm colorblind.
I thought you were gonna say they are if you die, and I'm just. I thought you were gonna stop
Wow,
it there for a
wow.
second. I'm just about to be like,
Oh,
"Damn,
you want
dude."
me to pull a Mr. Garrison? You die. You go to hell and you die.
I'll fuck them all to death.
Number 3. Do infants enjoy infancy as much as adults enjoy adultery?
Do. And for all the wrong reasons.
For the same reason people like adultery.
Hmm.
For the wrong reasons.
I was so sure you were gonna say infant.
I can only think of about 513 reasons.
That's oddly specific.
Well, I've had time to think about this.
Clearly.
Oh my.
Moving on. Do pyromaniacs wear blazers?
As the melted flesh drips off their bones.
Number 5. If you don't pay your exorcist, do you get repossessed?
I suppose that's the easiest answer. Yes, you do. I'm trying to wrap my head around that one.
Next question. Why do we kill people for killing people to show that killing is wrong?
Because we did it for the right reasons, damn it.
Okay. If tin whistles are made of tin, what are foghorns made out of?
Foghorns are made out of lead, so don't put your lips on them or you'll have learning disabilities.
Wonderful.
Why is it that your feet smell and your nose runs?
Oh crap, I just broke something.
No.
Never mind, that wasn't for you. Your feet smell and your nose runs.
Because you're sick. Because you're very, very sick. Please go to a
I
doctor.
don't know. Yeah, probably. These are very existential questions. I'm going to be very confused in the morning.
And last but not least, why does Goofy stand on 2 legs while Pluto is on all 4s if they're both dogs?
Because Pluto has been blowing lead foghorns.
I'm so glad that you finished that sentence the way you did, because about one of them standing and one of them being on all fours, and all I heard was, because Pluto is blowing, and I'm like, oh, please don't end that sentence the way I think you're going to.
But is he blowing Foghorn Leghorn?
Hey,
But,
I tell you,
dogs really like peanut butter.
oh my god!
I said, boy, you gotta lick that peanut butter, boy.
That was not at all what I was saying.
I tell you, boy, get in there, get in the creases, boy.
Oh.
That's a joke, boy.
We're going in directions today.
And now it's time.
Oh, sorry. Let me like sit up and do this proper.
It's been a few weeks.
I was sick, so it sounded like shit. All right. Questions with Vylon.
First question from Vylon.
Hurt you.
Which of your stories do you consider your best writing?
I think Ambergris got my best writing in it. It's odd to me that when I go back and look at the stories I think I did the best on, and that also the reviewers think I did the best on, they're almost always first person present. I don't know why that is.
Interesting. I've heard of people having like specific genres that they consider themselves better at, but not tenses or perspectives.
Yeah, I mostly wrote sad stories, not as much now as I used to, but that was kind of my specialty. But yeah, when I go back and look at the best ones, it seems like a lot of it. And I would guess it's just because if you feel really attached to a story idea, that's what gets you the closest to it. So maybe I just ended up doing that instinctively on the ones that I believe the most in. I don't know.
It's fair. Next question. As a reviewer, how do you balance subjective and objective opinions?
Thing to do, and there's not that many reviewers that can do it. I remember just leaving a comment on one of Paul Asarin's blogs a week or two ago saying that he was doing a good job with that, and I appreciated seeing it. It's impossible to divorce the two completely. You just have to realize that you're doing it. So, for instance, if I read a story and I find it utterly boring, that's a subjective thing. It's not a factual statement that you can say that the story is boring, but at least prompts you to start looking at, well, why is it boring? Because then you can start discovering things in there that the author's not doing well that resulted in it being boring. Now, subjective stuff, when enough people say it, if you give it out to 10 people and they all tell you it's boring and they can't really put their finger on why, then there's still a problem somewhere. And at that point, something subjective is still worth saying the story needs work. So I am very happy when I see a reviewer who is willing to recommend a story that he didn't like, or that kind of even comprehend that you can do that. You can recognize that I didn't like this story, but all my objections to it are personal. It's just not my taste, but I think the author did a great job on it. That's why I was very happy to see Paul give a high recommendation to a story he didn't like, because that, to me, that's the mark of a good reviewer. And certainly on the Equestria Daily side, we have to perfectly well be willing to post a story that we didn't like, and I've done so several times.
I feel that one of the things I say over and over again, it's a kind of a mantra of mine. I will yell at people while holding onto their shirt front, screaming it in their face, is I like it doesn't mean it's good, and it's good doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, I wrote up a guest column for Chris's One Man's Pony Ramblings blog a couple of years back that was basically a rant on that, yeah, I didn't like it is a very different thing from there's something wrong with it. On the other side of the coin, you have to also know that I like this story because it's a guilty pleasure, but it's not actually that good.
I'm a foodie person, but guess what? I fucking love SpaghettiOs and meatballs cold out of a can, and it is bad. It is bad, and I fucking love it. And it's okay to acknowledge that.
You heretic.
I don't have to defend SpaghettiOs and meatballs to people. I don't have to be like, but it's good. How dare you dislike this thing that I like or say it's bad? No, it's bad. And it's okay.
Hello, Inquisition. I have a case to report.
Do they still make the SpaghettiOs with the sliced hot dogs in them?
Oh my God, they did used to make those, didn't they?
They did. They still do. They still do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that brought me back.
No, I still eat that shit.
Someone needs to make an OC about that.
SpaghettiOs?
Spaghetti-O pony.
With the sliced hot dogs.
The sliced hot dog would be in like holding
Would
dreadlocks.
be
It would
like
be like the
a
baby
gore
of
story.
SpaghettiOs and hot dog pone.
So marinara gets together with some German food pone, and that's what the result is.
You leave marinara out of this.
You guys,
What?
there's already SpaghettiO pone.
There
Oh,
is
God.
link.
I need to find a better picture. I found a picture of her face. I think I love her.
While you're doing that, oh, here we go.
Are you going to kill me if I use a stupid pun?
No, puns are great. We welcome
Okay.
puns.
We
This is
love
the
them.
pun
Alright.
quiz.
Well, I agree. This Spaghetti-O hot dog should be the daughter of the spaghetti pony and the hot dog pony with the German name. And then I guess she got not worsted up.
I'm glad I
love
set
it.
this up.
What is that? No, Frank, what is this?
Oh gosh, I need to refresh because there are more violent questions. Okay,
Yes, there are.
next one. Why choose Pascoite out of many others?
Okay, so when I first submitted a story to Equestria Daily, I was one of the dumbasses who didn't read the rules and just emailed them a Word document. And they sent back to me, no, you got to post this somewhere and send us the link. So I said, okay, I got to create a FimFic account. I got to create a Gmail address for it and whatnot. And I know I wanted to do a mineral name, so I tried a couple of the minerals I like best. They were already taken as Gmail addresses. So Pascoite was my third choice. It wasn't taken, and so it was.
Awesome. Number 4. If you like a person, and yet you know that person is never going to like you, do you think it's best to just stop trying to make that person like you?
It's always worth making someone like you, even if it's not going to lead to romance.
I mean, anyone will like you if you have a gun.
Oh Jesus! That went dark so fast. Oh my God!
Speaking,
Told
they're
me
gonna be
so.
my best fucking friend.
Say it, you're my friend.
I'm your friend.
Say it like I mean it.
I'm your friend.
Please,
Say it
this
with-
is not to anybody.
Say it with your chest.
Now sing it like Beyonce.
Now I'm your friend.
Right
Sorry.
now, this
Let's go.
Amer is doing this, and it calls Twilight for a friendship problem, like hardcore.
Yeah, like it. Oh, Matt. Yeah, it's a friendship problem that Twilight has to go to. It's so bad that she tries everything she can't solve it, and she finally just says, "Here, you get a gun. Friendship problem solved," and walks away.
See, the friendship is we both have guns.
Yeah, then it'll be like that South Park episode where they just hold the guns to each other and then hang out civilly. I'm having a great time, man. Me too. I love you. I love you too.
Let's do this again next week.
And they hold the guns to each other as they leave.
Okay, next question. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Oh man, this is gonna go some dark places.
Yes.
Maybe I'll one up you. Go on.
Well.
Okay,
go on.
so this story starts 10 years ago.
Oh God.
I found myself in New York City. So I was sitting on the curb. It was rainy. My feet are submerged in a puddle, barely above freezing. Next thing I knew, I was waking up in Mexico City in a bathtub full of ice, missing my kidneys. But among the ice was like 3 or 4 Klondike bars. So hey, it was worth it.
God damn it.
That's great.
I love it. I fucking love it. That's great. Next question. If Eve doomed the entire race for an apple, what would she do for a Klondike bar?
I missed the first part of that.
If Eve doomed the entire human race for an apple, what would she do for a Klondike bar?
That's actually a good question.
That is a good question.
But
Well, it's a given that the human race is still doomed. I just got to think she's taking everyone else with her. I gotta think that in one of these worlds that they're gonna encounter through the Stargate, they're gonna find a place that's never seen Klondike bars before, and it's an absolute paradise.
Oh God.
One of the soldiers has one on him, and next thing you know, there's just this planet-wide orgy.
Oh my god.
I thought you were gonna go with planet-wide war for the Klondike bar, ruining this paradise.
Well, if that was the only one that ever had a hope of making it there, I am fully on board with you. But they know that these soldiers can bring back unlimited numbers of them.
Yeah, that would change everything.
Interesting.
Okay, next question. Oh, wait. Are we at halfway?
It
We're
is
at halfway.
time!
Okay, so quick segue. By the way, Pencil,
Yes?
did you know that we have a very real way that you can help real horses?
Do we really, Priest?
Why, yes! We have this thing called a Patreon.
I feel like I'm in a 90s commercial.
What
It's-
happens if you donate to the Patreon?
We send money every month to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary in California.
Central California. Central California.
Central California, and we send $55 a month to a horse who is aptly named Big Mac. You guys chose the horse, and we are actually paying for his immunizations, his food, his doctor appointments, and every cent that you guys donate to that Patreon doesn't go to us at all. All of our YouTube revenue, everything goes directly to this horse. So please, if you have any money to spare every month, consider becoming a Patreon, where you can get a few little extra Discord perks and know when we're streaming and stuff, even though you already can because we don't have anything behind a paywall. So
Really, just do it to help the horses. It's Red Wings Horse Sanctuary is a really cool thing. You should look into them. Other than that, yeah, we're actually probably gonna go visit the horse at some point and take pictures, and it'll be weird. I'll probably write a story about it.
Look at Tumor. Why can't we pay for a better podcast?
Thanks, Sumer. Also, if you have not joined the Barcast group, which I will post a link to in a moment, and that's all I'm going to say because it's time to get to more questions.
And last but
Actually-
not least, if you want the chance to win a real rarity plushie, consider joining the Make Rarity Not Garbage writing contest. So,
Join the Barcast. Go to the link. You go to the link and you join the group, and then you enter the writing contest run by a guy named Flutter Priest, who's kind of shit, but that's okay because he's going to give you stuff. And then you're
Yeah.
done.
like money.
You know, when you guys were first shilling and you said, "How do you do that?" I imagined this black and white scene where someone is trying to Patreon, but they just can't, and they accidentally give money to Al Qaeda.
What the fuck? Enigma, what the actual shit?
Great. Now our podcast is on fucking NSA radar. Thanks.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Back to questions with Violon. Pascoite, do you think Hitler did nothing wrong if he did it for a Klondike bar?
Yes.
Wow. That is probably the best existential question I'd ever seen. You know, I'm going to have to cop out on this one and say it's one of those situations where I could probably give you an answer, but it wouldn't be the true one because you can't ever really know what you'd respond until you actually went through the situation yourself.
I completely understand, but we're just jumping even deeper as we go because Violon's back and stronger than ever with her questions. Holy shit.
On another note,
Next.
I just have to say that the best aftermath of doing something for a Klondike bar had to be with Gavrilo Princip.
What the fuck?
No, was I the only one that got that? Well, he was the dude that shot Franz Ferdinand. So
Oh.
It's okay, Flam. I'm just gonna pat you gently and
yeah,
tell you it's
yeah,
okay.
just
It's
forget
okay,
I
Flam.
meant that. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay, Flam. It's okay. Shh, it's okay.
Yay for historical humor.
Yay!
Next Violon question. What do you think of parents who use bleach enemas to cure their children of autism?
It worked on me.
Holy shit!
You sure about that?
I was not ready.
You sure about that, buddy? I'm still expecting a lot of autism in this chat.
I mean,
Jesus!
your kidneys have been replaced by Klondike bars, so
Ah,
I wasn't ready.
oh,
Is that why I
nice.
see vanilla?
Oh,
Question. The next
next
question.
question. Time for a little role play.
Oh, good.
You are Anon, also
I
known
am
as
Anon.
Anonymous,
Yes.
and you are having alone time in your bedroom when Princess Twilight Sparkle teleports into your room suddenly. You totally didn't scream like a little girl and frantically hide your shame. Anonymous, the world is ending. You need to come inside my magical pony pussy to save the world, Princess Twilight Sparkle declares. Will you accept her offer, or will you kick her out of the bedroom to continue your quickie with your girlfriend, Miss Hand?
Well, Miss Hand is clearly the inferior lover in this case. That's not even in question.
Whew. This is
I would
this
hope
is
so.
this is some cheating that's going on right here.
You gotta. It's to save the world. Come on.
Yeah, okay, I totally understand. All right, last but not least from Vylon. Would you rather let me christen your newborn baby with a jar of my clotted period blood, or let it hump me instead?
You totally skipped a question, Priest. A horrifying question.
I did, because I just refreshed. Let me refresh again. Or is this? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, okay. Well, we'll get back to clotted period blood, but first we have
Love you, Bylon. Love you, baby.
another roleplay question. Oh my god.
Yes.
You are a necrophile, and you are fucking the freshly embalmed corpses of your family when Rainbow Dash comes over and begs you to share your father's corpse with her so you can punch the gut of your father and make its decomposing juices explode inside her. Will you let your dead father come inside Rainbow Dash, or kill her to add the corpse to your fetish collection?
Oh gosh, he wants him to munge him.
Rainbow Dash is gonna die. But I have to tell you, that was the answer before you even started the scenario.
Nice. Oh, okay. So let's go back to, would you rather let a baby hump Vylon or let her...
Wait. No, she's humping the baby, because if the baby's humping her, that's a whole different thing.
No, that is what it says, or let it hump me instead.
You're right.
Christen baby with clotted period blood, or let it hump her. Oh god.
I don't even know where to start with that one.
Right? Vylon, who hurt you?
Yeah, it's clear that there's something long ago that went horribly wrong,
All right.
and now we're all paying for it.
There's this dude named Aku, right?
Oh my god, stop.
Long ago.
I don't want to imagine Aku doing horrible things to Vylon, so please
Extra.
stop.
The shape-shifting master of munging.
this
Oh
sounds
my
like a Zone Tama thing.
Are we?
Long ago there was Aku, and then the show magically morphed into doing Gurren Lagann's ending.
Oh
And we all
God.
saw that coming a mile away.
Now we have a question from a brony, who says, what is your favorite school subject and why?
I always liked math the best just because it's got definite answers and it's a whole lot easier to learn the way it works and branch out from there so you can figure out things on your own rather than something like history where it's more just you got to memorize all this shit.
Okay.
I never enjoyed English too much either, but here I am.
I
So-
totally relate to that. I hated English classes, like, so much.
I loved it.
And we hated writing the essays, and look where we are now.
I liked writing the essays.
Well, pencil, I can
Yeah.
give you I can send you a nice essay question if you want.
Okay.
Cuz English
But you
did
have to
nothing
answer in the
wrong.
form of a
But
question.
Oh Jesus.
okay, now we have questions from Horizon,
Horizon.
who starts by right off the bat by giving you a fuck, marry, kill situation.
I'm ready.
Man, Horizon, you're really getting into the spirit of things. Your choices to fuck, marry, kill are Palladium, Peridot, and Pyrite.
Well, let's see. First off, I don't know whether to take Peridot as the mineral or as the Steven Universe character.
Both.
Both.
She gets all three.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, you should choose Pyrite. In fact, you'd be a fool not to.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I'm done now. I'll go sit in my
That
corner.
was awesome!
Yeah.
It took a second, though.
Yes, Palladium, let's see. Platinum likes to form cubes. Palladium, I don't know off the top of my head for sure. It's a platinum group element, so it probably likes to form cubes too. But it forms these nice, soft-edged ones that wouldn't do at all. Versus Pyrite, that smug bastard has a shape named after itself.
Ugh. All right. Next
Pyrite's
question
not getting
is
killed.
right. Let's see. The next question is to everyone.
Oh,
Are you hyped for the MLP movie?
let's let our guest answer first because I know we will. Some of us are definitely hyped, but I want to hear our guest's answer.
I don't think I'm any more hyped for it than any other part of the show, but I am definitely looking forward to seeing it. I was at one point figuring I was probably going to have to wait until it made its way to TV, but my son's enjoyed watching the show with me for the past few years, and he's very hyped to go see it. And his this girl that's been his friend 4 years since they were in preschool together, she and her little sister are big fans of the show too, so he's got a good excuse to go then if both families just all go together. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So I am looking forward to seeing it.
That's your excuse as well.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely.
Using your children to get what you want. Huh.
Exactly.
Well, what else are they for?
Right? Disease balls, a lot of them.
My wife likes watching the show too, so she's also looking forward to the movie.
Oh,
I
sweet.
purposely had this child so I can go see this children's movie.
Born a couple of months before My Little Pony started.
Oh wow! So he's been around just for all of it.
He didn't start watching it until about season probably 4, maybe the end of season 3.
Wow. So you actually watched it before your son did?
Yeah, I started watching it season 2, and I'd wait until we didn't get the hub back then, so I'd have to watch it on YouTube or wherever it was posted. So when I got some quiet time, everyone else had gone to bed, I'd watch the show so no one would see me doing it. And then one day I come home from work and it's on the TV. And he saw it flipping channels and he's been watching it for the past few weeks. So sure, I can deal with this.
It'd be better. It worked out better than if, like, all of a sudden you come home and then your wife is just like, "Dear, I looked at your internet history. What's the pony show?"
She was aware that there was such a thing before he started watching it, but she hadn't seen it.
Alrighty.
So the other thing is that I know that Lamb and Enigma will be coming to my home, and we will be going to see the movie together. So we're going to have a little party.
That's right, and we're gonna ruin the experience for all the little children there.
Yes, we are.
There's gonna be a lot of screaming.
I'm gonna lean over to the 6-year-old girl who's gonna be next to me with her parents, be like, there's futa porn of that pony up there.
I'm just gonna go all Blues Brothers on this. Just lean over to the nearest mother and go, "How much for the little girl? We want to buy your women."
How much for a little girl? You make them fight, we take one back to Mother Russia.
One of the mothers in the front is gonna like whisper to her child, "It's like, why is that woman in the back screaming so hard whenever the dragon shows up?"
Just every time Spike's on screen.
Pencil, I will give you $1 if you do that.
$1? Fuck
Yes.
you! You gotta give me more than that.
Hey, Spike is shit. He's valued at $1.
Nah, man. No, man, you got it.
No, $1 every time he's on screen.
There
Every
we
time
go.
I read, if you give me $1, I will do it.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
So which
gonna
one
pull
of
out
you is
singles?
which one of you is going to pull the thing where the little kid in the seat next to you is all, oh, look it's Twilight Sparkle on screen, and so you lean over to her and you say, that is my waifu. You get your fucking hands off her.
No, I'll just leave it for the kids. Like, nah, she's been shit since she got wings, and they'll be
Guys, if ever shows up even a small appearance, you're like, my arm's gonna raise it, going yes, and everyone's
And
gonna
then
turn
we're all
back and
gonna
look at what
pile
the
on
fuck.
you. And we're all gonna
Yeah.
be like, she's a shit character, and this movie's automatically shit.
Well, you realize what's going to happen too is that like the kid is going to come home with mom, and dad's going to be like, "Well, how was the movie, sweetie?" I saw a weird guy get punched in the face by a screaming lesbian. Like that'll probably be what they think.
Because kids these days just have that lexicon.
See, I'm gonna feel so awkward because I'm not able to join the movie party. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell am I gonna go see the MLP movie? I either go see it alone or I got invited by like my local brony meetup group.
Both of those
keep in
sound
mind-
sound horrible.
The last time I went to one of the local brony meetup groups in my area, someone invited me out to their van to look at their plushie collection.
Nope.
And it was a fucking panel truck, and I was just like, no, I don't think I want to go to this thing. And so
I'd like to point out one
my choice
thing.
is either panel truck plushie movie or going alone.
I'd still like to point out the fact that you went to
Go
go
with
look
the
at this
friend.
truck.
Yeah, you made it halfway there.
Yeah, man, you
have
walked
fun.
out. You were going to that car to
Watch
see the
it.
collection. What the hell?
Then you just had an out of body experience.
It felt polite.
I mean, did he say also meet me here for cock fun in 2 minutes too? Like
No. It was right about the time that he was talking about, oh yeah, he also has some meth. When I was like, maybe this isn't for me.
The nerve of this guy! He didn't even offer you candy.
no, you had to buy the candy from him. He's a shitty pedophile.
When you're the one who has to bring it up, yeah, he's just phoning it in.
Priest, you got to go on next question, buddy. This is a spiral thing. Spiral we're in now.
All right, now questions from Alex _,
Oh,
who is a local boss. And if you haven't checked out our Twitter, go check out our Twitter. Alex is running it, and we just recently had a conversation on there with Peter New. So,
also check out the con that Alex has made for you.
Make
yeah,
it.
we have a Pasco emoji,
Pasco.
Oh, you do? Where is it? Let
right?
me see.
It's in our little chat.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
And behind the counter. If you look at behind the counter right now,
Yeah.
It's not just a saying. There's a channel
see
called
it?
Behind the Counter. Don't physically look behind a counter.
Oh, that. Yeah. No, I was looking through the emojis in menus. Okay.
Oh, okay.
there's your emoji.
Yes. So, number one. If someone stole your trademark, violating your unique right to profit from that piece of intellectual property and causing you significant damages and mental distress, what name would you call them?
Trying to think of something that's absolutely stinging, but in the moment I probably wouldn't be able to come up with anything more than you fucktard.
Fair. Number two. Can you call Trap Penguin Lips that name, please, for stealing the idiosyncratic genius of my "What is your funniest anecdote?" question?
Oh, he did that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you want me to call him? Trapped penguin lips?
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
Trap Penguin Lips.
Trapped
Gross.
penguin lips.
Okay. Number three. Pascoite, did you tie down this foal?
Is there a picture of said foal? If not, you can't prove nothing.
Alex, I love you for making that joke. Thank you.
Number four. Ball hairs. Who has them? Who doesn't? And what is the general opinion of their ear of nutsack hair?
I don't have hair on my balls for anyone who's curious.
Oh, I was hoping for a story related to that. Okay. Ball hair. That's another long story.
What?
He actually has a story.
I'll shorten it to I do have quite a bit of it stored in the closet.
Why do
Oh,
you
okay.
have nut hair in your closet?
I
I
think.
mean,
I think.
not everybody does.
Well, I mean, I suppose if you have enough bodies, you technically have a solid collection of nut ballsack hair.
I mean,
I think
that's
closets.
one explanation.
I think closets is code for his ass crack.
Oh,
But
God.
why would you have ball hair in your ass crack? Oh.
It took you a second. It took you a second.
Moving on. Says the guy who just wrote a homoerotic clop fic.
Good job.
Number 5. Is putting tits on a dog worse than putting tits on a dragon?
A lot less dangerous, but it's a whole lot less satisfying as well.
Thank you.
But dogs are mammals. Dogs are supposed to have, like, nipples.
Well, not the boy dogs.
They have nipples, too.
And weird looking.
Okay. This comes back to what has been fucking, like, me and Enigma's, like, debate over the last week. Because
Nothing
I
to do with
really...
crotch boobs.
Oh,
Well, no, it's not crotch boobs. I wrote a female diamond dog romance fic, and Enigma has the highest rated Ember story clop fic on Femfic. And in his, Embers has tits, actual tits. And we all give him shit.
On a
because-
reptile?
On a reptile! Yes, you get it!
Enigma.
What? Yes.
Kill yourself.
This reminds me of another thing that Seth brought up once. I was complaining to him about all the pony art that has belly buttons on the ponies. And he said, but they look so cute. So I went and found a picture of an actual pony belly button and showed it to him. And he was like, ew, don't show that to me.
Well, now I have to show it to the Barcast because I'm sure they're all wondering.
Yeah,
Hey,
now I want to know what a pony belly button's
Not
like.
a problem. I got
Hey,
this. boy.
Pascoite. Hey, Pascoite.
Yes.
You know what pisses all these guys off more?
Your Patreon?
No. Other than that as well. The fact that my Ember story almost has 2,000 likes.
So remarkably average. Remember what we were saying before about things being featured not necessarily meaning being good? Boom! Anyway, number 6. Do you have a fish sona? If so, what is it?
A fish sona. Any fish by name other than Wanda?
Okay.
Yay! Horse belly button. Is that going up on the video?
That's weird.
Belly
Yeah.
button?
Probably.
I'm clicking on that son of a bitch.
It's not gross.
No, it's not gross. It's just kind of weird
Not
and
cute.
anticlimactic.
Yeah,
I mean-
it's not what you would expect. It's just a belly button on a horse.
I mean, it looks like like the belly button was there. Like when the umbilical cord was connected, he just twisted a lot.
It's kind of an innie.
Anyway.
Needs more lint.
Anyway. Now we have questions from Catalyst Cradle. From all your experience pre-reading, what are some of the most common mistakes you see writers in this fandom making?
That changes a lot over the years just because as I learn more, I'm looking for different things. So early on, I mean, through it all, it's going to be just basic editing, people misspelling words, bad grammar, things like that. But for the first couple of years, I was looking for a lot of show versus tell things because that's what was freshest in my mind. And for the last couple of years, I'm more into problems with perspective, where the narration just goes off on things that don't fit the perspective they've chosen for the story. So there's lots and lots of mistakes people make with that, even ones that experienced authors make because they aren't being careful with it. So Gap Jaxie and Dubs Rewatcher and Ether Echoes and I just did a panel on that at BronyCon, so that'll all hit YouTube probably sometime in the next. That takes them forever. It's probably going to be about another 4 months.
Oh, I'm anxiously awaiting mine, so I feel you. All right. Next question. What is your approach to pre-reading and editing stories?
Those are two different jobs, and it always gets down into semantics when you start talking editing. What does an editor do? What does a proofreader do? What does a reader do? First thing when I come into editing is you got to look at what shape the overall story is in. So if every third word is misspelled, then you're wasting your time trying to help them with pretty nuanced things about characterization because they're just not ready for that yet. And they're going to have to rewrite so much of it that even if you fixed what was there, it's all going to change anyway. Pre-reading is... Chris made a good argument in, I guess it was one of his blog posts, or maybe it was an email to me. One of the big differences between editing and pre-reading is if I am editing for you, then it's my job to make your story the best it can be, period. So I'm going to complain about any little thing I see wrong with it, even if they are matters of personal taste. I will say, I don't like this, and I will try and drill down and figure out why, give them some more concrete things to go on, but any little complaint I have about with, I'm going to raise. Pre-reading is that you're just trying to get them to pass some sort of a threshold. So it's more things that have to be fixed. You're not going to be as pushy about stuff that doesn't need to be fixed. Even if you think it would make the story better, you can make that argument to the author that I think it would make this better as long as you explain why. But pre-reading, a couple of the main rules I live by are, one we've already covered: do not confuse I didn't like this story with there's something wrong with it. And the other two are very related. Do not make the author write the story that you wanted to read. And do not make the author write the story the way you would have written it. Strengths that get put on you when you're pre-reading versus editing.
I can totally feel that. Let's see. Now we have questions from Lise Eclair.
Yay, hi Lise.
Oh, he went to go sleep. He couldn't stay up.
Oh.
Poor Lise. He's a favorite around here. So,
Yeah.
number 1. Would you agree that crystal ponies are superior to all other ponies with the exceptions of alicorns?
I think they're even superior to alicorns.
Ooh.
That's saying something.
Well, they are minerals. So the only non-crystal pony that even comes close is Maud.
God.
All right, number 2. What advice would you give to writers?
Read as much as you can. Stories, but reviews as well. All kinds of reviews. The kinds that dig into the mechanical side and the ones that dig into the storytelling side. And go out of your comfort zone. Stories that you like, you're not expanding as much. Definitely get into trying to help other people edit. I learned a whole lot more about writing from reviewing and editing than I ever did from writing. It's a whole lot easier to spot problems in things that other people have written because you're too close to what you wrote yourself.
I can understand that, the creator's
Yes.
curse.
And this is a tough one to do because it can be hard to find someone willing to let you. But if you can edit, especially, well, even above editing, pre-read, for someone who is a significantly better writer than you are, that way, because you really, really have to think to give them useful advice to find things. And early on in my reviewing career, Chris let me review a couple things for him, and I learned a whole lot by doing it.
I'm sorry, you said Chris. Is that a name we should recognize?
He runs the One Man's Pony Ramblings blog. So
right.
Oh, okay.
That's been going on for years, and he's got a number of stories on FinFiction too. He doesn't get as much attention as he should, but he's a very good writer, and he's also Angels not too long ago, and he was one of the original curators of the Royal Canterlot Library.
Oh, okay. Is there a? Did you just go under the name Chris on FinFic, or I don't think we caught that.
He's a big fan of Carrot Top.
Gross.
Okay. Let's see, and then last but not least, from Lise. Wow, that was weird. What is a question that you'd like to answer that no one has asked you?
That's a very tough question. I've gotten a lot of good ones already. Now, what would I want to answer? I could go on at length about minerals, but no one even wants to ask that. Let me stew on that one for a while. I might come up with something.
Sounds good. Because now we have questions from Wanderer D.
Yay, Wanderer.
So before we get banned from FinFiction, number
He's
one.
gonna give us the D.
So
Sorry.
you're a name among names when it comes up to FinFic for both quality of writing and judging of quality. Given that everyone's a critic and people tend to disagree with what doesn't necessarily fit their expectation of what is good and isn't, what would you say to them regarding the subjectivity and validity of any criticism of their work?
Criticism is always worth listening to. That doesn't mean you're going to get something out of it. And you have to take several things into account. Read it carefully, see what they're actually saying, and sometimes you'll find that they're not saying anything. If all they're saying is, I don't like this story, well, that's not anything that's useful to you. It can help to look who's saying it if you happen to know that that person already has certain preferences and biases. Like if you've written a stupid random comedy and you know this person doesn't like stupid random comedies, then no surprise that they're complaining about this one. That doesn't mean you can just discount someone you've never heard of, because there's up and comers coming out of nowhere all the time. But really listen to what the person says. And that's why as a reviewer, I try as much as I can to always explain things. I'm not just going to tell you you did this wrong. It's here's how to do it right. Here's why it works better when you do it this way. So if someone's actually explaining something to you like that, then you can think about it. You can agree with it rather than saying or just taking their word for it that it needs to be that way. So make sure that the person's actually giving you some sort of a reasoned argument. You have to take what they're saying. Even if they are making a reasoned argument, you may disagree with it. And ultimately, it's your story. It can be whatever you want it to be. If you agree that what that person's saying makes it better, then by all means do it. But you don't have to change anything. You don't have to listen to what anyone says.
Well, let me ask you this. You use the phrase reasoned argument quite a lot, and I wanted to follow up. Is a reasoned argument necessarily constructive criticism, and is constructive criticism necessarily a reasoned argument?
Constructive criticism should contain reasoned arguments if you expect the person to listen to it. A reasoned argument in itself isn't criticism, but it supports criticism because it's going to justify what you're saying and try and convince the writer that they should be doing it that way.
Okay. Very fair. I just wanted to get an idea of your thoughts. Number two. Besides very specific cases, why should people use passive voice? We all know all the reasons why they shouldn't. So when is passive voice a good thing? Wanderer D, I love you for this question.
Yes.
This is a good question.
It is a very good question, and it's a hard one to answer because it's one of those kind of I'll know it when I see it things.
Yeah.
What passive voice does, it transfers the attention onto the action from the object. Usually it's the object or the person, because you read stories for the characters. You want to know what's happening to them and what details and things they're noticing around. So if you transfer the attention to the action, it better be a very important action and it better be a very interesting one.
Uh-huh.
So it's different people are going to have different opinions about when that's justified. Passive voice can also be used to good effect in situations where you want a character to feel powerless, like things are happening to them and they're stuck with the results of it and there's not anything that they can do about it. Those are probably the two biggest examples I can think of when it's good to use passive voice.
I would add that it also can soften tone. If you're writing something that's particularly poetic, it can make things
poetry
a lot more slow and relaxed.
Poetry ends up bending a lot of rules just because you've got so much structure that you have to obey. That now you're using non-standard word orders and you can get away with a lot more in poetry because it's a lot more about the flow of it than the actual wording at times.
And I'm saying that in very poetic fiction as well, and poetic prose, reflective things in particular are great for that.
Yeah, poetic form and blank. Yeah. Poetic form and blank verse aren't necessarily constricted by word structure, syllables, formatting. They can read almost exactly like a story, just in more of a shorthand, poetic way. And in that case, passive voice isn't necessarily a bad thing, and that can take this form of a story or even a fan fiction.
And I'll be honest, I will fight a bitch who tells me that you should never use passive voice. I will fight them. Send them to me. I will put up my dukes, and we will have at like
that
I will
is
break
so
out my
English.
hockey fights. I will break out my hockey fight knowledge. I will.
There's really nothing in writing that I would say you absolutely can never do it.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't use passive voice when you're writing a scientific paper.
Obviously,
but,
yeah.
In fiction, and someone's like, "Well, you shouldn't have used this sentence because it's passive." I'm like, I will punch you. Tell me why I should use a better sentence, but don't just tell me not to do because it's passive, because I will fucking punch you, and I will. I honestly will.
In my experience, I write a lot of action scenes, and if you're trying to keep the perspective on one person dealing with a bunch of shit that's happening around them, for example, like warfare in a battle, passive voice comes in so handy. It is not even funny.
If you're retelling a legend, it has long been said that. Like, there's that too. I will punch people. Sorry, I'm done. Yeah.
I'll give you the hammer.
It's fine. We're not gonna strike any stories off, the cutting room floor because it's using too much passive voice.
Yes.
So let's just move on.
Yeah. What I would say is, there are rules like that it's good to practice when you're a beginner, but as you gain experience, then you learn when it's okay to break the rules and when it's actually to your benefit to break the rules.
Yes.
Once you get a sense of that, then all the rules go out the window.
My writing teacher told me very strongly, learn the rules passionately so you can break them with intent.
Yes, you want to break a rule because you understand what you're doing, you know what the baggage is, and you're accepting that, rather than you didn't know what you were doing and you're taking the baggage unintentionally, and you might not even know what that baggage is.
Good conversation. Good argument. We did it. Number 3. According to Wikipedia, Pascoite was discovered in the Ragra mine near Cerro de Pasco, Peru, where the mineral formed on the walls of an exploratory tunnel after its excavation. The specimens were transported by D. Does this mean that we're fated to work together?
Obviously we are. I don't remember whereabouts D works now, but I remember correctly, he's from somewhere out west, kinda. I don't remember now, but yeah, there's a whole lot of Pascoite out in Nevada and Utah and New Mexico, Arizona area. He's at least working with my relatives, and yes, we are fated. Our fates are tied together forevermore, Wanderer. It's good to know.
All right. Now we have questions from Cyberphase on GOTDM, who starts by saying, number 1, would you Thing Pony?
Here is Thing Pony if you have any questions about that.
Okay, let me pop up this picture and have a look at Thing. Oh my word, what is this?
We should start forming a compilation of...
Would you?
No.
Aw, poor Thing
All right. Number 2. If you
I'm
know
not
what
sure those are bedroom eyes.
Come on.
They're whatever you want them to be, baby.
Literally, it's Thing Pony. Anyway.
Number
Sorry.
2. If you know what a food pony is, which food and drink pony would you be friends with?
Oh, Seth goes apeshit over Pizza Pony.
I love
Man.
Pizza Pony.
I'm trying to remember which ones I've even seen.
Soda Pony, Pizza Pony, Pineapple Pony, Spaghetti Pony. We got this. Burger
Well,
Pony.
I saw Pineapple Pony yesterday. If it's the picture of the one saying that he's shit on pizza.
Yes.
Yes, he shit.
Yes. I would be friends with that because I agree with him.
Well, I by the way, people will be shocked to hear that I have a new pony that I'd like to waifu.
Oh,
Oh.
do tell.
Please
Nacho
share your
cheese
waifu.
pony. It's nacho cheese pony.
She looks so sassy.
I love her. She's
Like-
my new favorite.
Like she's not your waifu.
Oh,
God damn
Jesus.
And she gets a. And she
Well, you
goes
knew that was
great
coming.
with-
Well, you
Nacho cheese, nacho waifu.
She goes great with
God.
everyone.
She trips all over the carpet, though.
She looks like she
Not
looks
if I
like
lick
she'd
her
be,
up.
she looks like she'd be someone to spread the love with.
Oh my god.
References.
And
Number 3. Which story have you reviewed that was surprisingly good despite the title?
Oh, immediate answer for that. Let me go look up the title. It will not take me long to find this. Maybe it will take me long to find this.
Dun dun dun.
what was it about?
I will read you the description of it when I find it. Title is The World Within the Web.
Okay.
Huh.
Let me find who wrote it.
The world within.
I'm in the spreadsheet right now. There we go. It's by an author named Lord Max, The World Within the Web. I will pop up the description of it. And let's see. It's up the FemFic page right now. Okay. Across the great kingdoms of the internet, a new power has arisen. Climbing from the dark shores of the Chan, these men and women walk the web and commune with their mystical benefactors. Strange and colorful figures from another world whom their followers know only as the Six Friends Who Are One. Carefully guarded peace exists between those who venerate the Six and those who resist them, one that has lasted many years. Looms once again. A knight moderator and his squire lie murdered in a dying city-state. Blame shifts to the blameless, and a small team of followers sworn to the generous and honest friends must sail across the world to prove their innocence and save their brothers. All the while they must contend with the forces of a hostile court, an unrelenting judge, assassins, anarchists, sorcerers, and one of their own as well, the fanatical warden of all honesty. Beneath everything is a vast conspiracy, holding a secret that will shake not only the Brony collective, but all of the world within the web. Awful.
Yes, it sounds garbage. But you said it's really good.
Sounds like Los Angeles, to be honest.
When people submit stories to Equestria Daily, part of the form is an additional synopsis for stories that are incomplete, so that they will tell us what happens in the rest of the story. And that way we can help them filter out things like, oh, it sounds like you're going to cross over the gore line here, or I think you're going to have trouble with, I want to see that written before we approve it, or something like that.
Yeah.
So the additional comments that he put in here, see what he says. Because he, at one point, says, there we go, the story is essentially an exploration of what the internet might look like if it were reimagined as a complex fantasy world in which websites were nations and fandoms were religions. Among these fandoms is one dedicated to the veneration of the Six Friends Who Are One, whom this quasi-monastic order communicate with and serve. It just sounds terrible, like some sort of masturbatory brony ification of the web. But the story's really good. It surprised me. I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to read 3 paragraphs of this and just decide it's junk. I read 9 chapters of it, and I was really impressed with how well he pulled it off.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's Actually, I am very pleased. I had not called up the story page in a while. He's up to 2.5 thousand views on the story, whereas when we first approved it, he was struggling to get 100 views.
All right, so we're going to try and rapid fire some questions because we are in our last 15 minutes and we have over double that many questions. So,
Uh-oh. Okay.
here we go. Number 4. What have you reviewed that made you cringe but you couldn't stop reading?
Oh, I hate to say titles.
It's one of
Okay.
mine. Go ahead.
Number 5.
Yeah, Cash just brought it up last week. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I love that story. I shouldn't, but I love it.
Okay. Number 5. Have you ever played a game back then that today could count as a classic or arcade game, and if so, which ones?
Oh, plenty of them. I had an original Atari 2600. In fact, I still have it. I've got the original Nintendo too. So, yeah, I'm out. But yeah, we had Pac-Man.
All right, number
That was
6.
first on Atari.
Who is second best and worst pony and why?
Second best and second worst, or second best and
Second best pony and second worst pony.
okay. Second best is Applejack. We have my wife, country girl, blonde hair, big sense of family. I like her a lot. Second worst pony for me is Fluttershy, just because I find her boring.
Yes.
Upsetting me. You guys are hurting me. The next question is literally about food. We'll come back to it if we have time. So we're going to go to Random E284, who says, "Hi, Pascoite. I read a few of your stories a while back, just like thousands of other people have, except I'm special, right?" So, number 1, when and how did you first start writing?
I first started writing in 2011 because I was looking for information on when season 2 was going to start, and a Google search took me to the Wikipedia page on bronies, which linked to Equestria Daily. I had a very low opinion of fanfiction at the time, but a couple of the stories posted on it seemed to appeal to me. I read them, I liked them, was impressed with how good they actually were, and figured, why don't I get into this?
All right. When did you officially start reviewing?
Officially started reviewing around December 2012. I had put in a couple of my own stories into PonyChan, and their system is that while you're waiting for your story to be reviewed, pitch in and help and review one that's waiting. So I grabbed a couple because I knew I could at least do grammar well and helped them out with that, and been doing it ever since.
Which episode of MLP do you hate that most others like?
These hate that most others like. Oh, I know there's got to be a couple. I really do not like any of the ones dealing with Daring Do, usually. The last one was pretty good. For the most part, I hate the ones that most people hate. I didn't like Marry Well. I didn't like Bats. I hated Dog and Pony. No, not that one. What's the one where the CMCs are doing the talent show?
Oh, that was...
Yeah, that.
Oh, gosh, super early on with the bat singing.
Yes. Yeah, I really didn't like that one, but a lot of people seem to.
Okay, next question is, which episode do you like that other people hate?
Philly Vanilli.
Oh.
I love that episode. Anyway.
Well, you're a music person. Anyway, next.
I am
I'm a music person. You're a music person?
I am a music person.
High five.
Yes, I used to be ranked the third best high school age saxophonist in North Carolina, and I won several state competitions in composing classical music.
Priest,
I'm a drummer in a brass band. Well, moving on. Okay.
hide your boner, Priest. We don't have time for it.
Okay. In your opinion, which character is the worst and why?
Oh. If we're going to go for a character like that gets a ton of screen time, then my least favorite is Rainbow Dash, just because I find her always off-putting. She's kind of one note. I do get that people say, well, she's just confidence and she doesn't know how to show it, but still, I kind of get tired of her doing the same thing all the time. But I guess people say the same thing about Fluttershy.
All right. Which character do you find to be the most relatable?
Most relatable, personally, tough. That would be either Applejack, just because I'm a cut the crap kind of person, or Twilight, just because person who's very science oriented. That's me.
Okay. Cheese. Cheese is good. What's your favorite kind of cheese, if any?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna judge you on this, so choose wisely.
Yes, smoked Gouda is probably my favorite cheese, but in smallish doses.
Fair.
It's good melted.
Yes, it is on a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yes.
With tomato soup. Okay, moving on. Fuck, marry, kill. Seasons 5, 6, and 7 of the show.
Let's see. I'm having to remember which is which. I would say kill season 6. Fuck 5, marry 7.
All right.
Well done.
Oh, we got a long one. So here we go. Let me think of something. Okay, so imagine you're walking home from one evening from who knows where, work or whatever. I don't know. It's pretty dark outside, almost midnight. The streetlights are on and look really cool, way cooler than you, because you're uncool. You quicken your pace because all you want to do is get home and fucking sleep already. Who the fuck stays up this late? Since it's the weekend, you have plans to sleep half the day tomorrow. You pass an alleyway and you hear some scratching coming from it. Being the person you are, you stop walking and look inside, and you can see a cardboard box that's moving. It's pretty small. You cautiously walk up to it and peek inside, and you see a little orange creature that looks like a little pony, except it's smaller, about the size of a cat. It has a little mulberry-colored mane and tail, and since you're not stupid, you know it's Scootaloo. You stare at her in disbelief, and she looks up at you and looks scared for her life and backs into the corner of her little box. What do you do with her?
I take her over to Rob Cakeran's house.
Ah! Oh!
Damn.
Rob Cakeran 53 wrote My Little Dashie.
Yep.
Rob Cakeran 53 wrote My Little Dashie. What?
Wait, was that the dude who wrote that story, Milo Dashie 2 Dash Harder?
That's
I don't
the
know if you're
same
right.
one.
Are you talking about the author of The Whittler?
Is that about the pony urinals too?
Rob is a totally chill guy. You met him at BronyCon too, right?
Yes,
We love
did.
him.
Oh,
He
Rob
was
is
there.
good friends for all
Yes.
of us.
Okay, yeah. Rob's great.
Yeah.
Rob
We're all
regularly helps us out here on the cast.
Well, all of us are familiar with him.
Next.
Okay. Last but not least from Random E. Don't worry, I was joking. You're cool too, but not as much as the street lights. Pat your head. Uitol
Now,
then asked.
now I know he's a fucking liar.
Now we have questions from Uitol, who says, "Priest, wear your pants." I am wearing jeans. Thank you very much. Now to the quest.
Are you
Number
wearing
one.
them where you're supposed to?
I will not answer that. I will plead the fifth. Number one. To the guest. Do you also hate it when your clothes are disappearing?
Only when it's the underpants gnomes doing it.
Number two. Why do you give a shit?
Because otherwise my stomach hurts. You just gotta go sometimes.
Number three. Why dose anyone give a shit?
Why dose? Oh. I don't know. I've never tried drugs.
All right, number four. What is your favorite element out of the platinum group and favorite element out of the halogen group?
Platinum group, my favorite is rhodium. Halogen would be
Man, that was fucking quick. You must know your table of elements. Moving on. We learned so much about our guests in such a condensed period of time. What is your favorite rare earth metal?
my favorite rare earth metal is Einsteinium because it's just got a great name.
That does.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Questions from Mobile Sam. How do you feel about potatoes?
I find them tasty. Just a little bit dry sometimes, but man, you put enough bacon on it.
The fuck was that?
I don't know.
What? Sorry, I was getting caught up by the next question is from Rape Spiders,
Oh,
which has a question directly to me that says, "Do you miss us, Priest? We miss you. Come play with us." Fuck no, I didn't like Dead Space. If you want more Dead Space, you're gonna have to subscribe to the Barcast Patreon. That sounded really smart in my head, and now it sounds really dumb.
But rape spiders, Priest.
You gotta play Dead Space 2, Priest. You gotta.
But rape
Hey, I'm
spiders.
playing it. You
Priest.
need to too.
That's a good username. That reminds me, whenever you get notifications that someone has added one of your stories to a group, the one I used to love, and I haven't seen it come up for over a year now, guy added like 3 of my stories to a group called Stories Which Send Shivers Up My Anus.
I love it when people have really creative names. All
that
right.
or very, very specific ones.
We're almost there, guys. We can do this.
Questions from Ravage now. To the cast. What is your favorite story by our guest and why?
I like Amber Gray.
I haven't read any because I'm garbage.
I don't want to read. God damn it.
Same.
Read
I
Pascoite stories.
I looked through his stories. I have one of his stories on my favorites. I forget which one now. I don't want to look through it again because of time.
You little bitch. Anyway.
To Pascoite. What story did you have the most fun writing?
Easily Dinkin' Donuts.
Which story did you least like writing?
Oh God, a friend of a not so different stripe. It's a Zakora story, and it takes me forever to do poetry, and I put so many rules on that. Her couplets were perfect iambic pentameter, and she told a couple of stories.
Jesus.
Yes, and she told a couple of stories and did not want them to be just couplets because she wanted to elevate them above her normal speech. So one of her stories was in sonnets and one was a villanelle, and it took me. It's like 4,000 words long. It took me like 4
Fucking
months to write that
Jesus.
stupid thing.
Jesus Christ. I respect you for that.
I will never do it again.
Which story taught you the most?
Oh, that's got to be Control Freak. That many people have read, but I worked on that one for a long time. That took me like 2.5 years to write.
All right. You're standing in a sewer full of gray water that's up to your knees and making your way through this filth to escape from something. What is it and how badly would you be afraid of it?
So I have no clue what this thing is.
No, what is it? What are you fleeing?
Okay. Oh, I had a good answer for that a minute ago. Maybe I'm fleeing Titanium Dragon.
Okay. Next question.
I kid. TD's a good guy.
Why is Ned Flanders so gosh darn diddly doodah sexy?
Stupid sexy Flanders.
Sexy Flanders. Oh, that reminds me. I'm in the midst right now of writing a story about Cloudy Courts, and I love the stupid sexy Cloudy Courts tag on Derpyboro.
Next.
All right. This one's in all caps, so I'm obligated to scream it. So hold on one moment. Why are tendies better than nuggos?
I'm not sure I know what those are.
Chicken tenders versus chicken nuggets.
Oh, gotcha. Tenders are less likely to be crammed together packets of dick meat.
Totally fair.
Next.
How many children have you kidnapped in your panel van and indoctrinated to say diddly?
You want me to count the ones that are in there right now that aren't through the processing yet?
Wonderful.
Oh my
Fucking wonderful. Do it.
my god.
Priest. 4 questions. Go.
Okay. To all casters, meet your best pony waifu husbando. You talk a bit, and he or she reads your fanfics. How would ponies react, and how will the conversation continue? If Cadence read Parents' Night Out and still wants to deal with me, I don't know what to say.
Fairy Punch would vomit all over herself because she's a drunk. Anyway, next.
Amber would have asked what those things on her chest were.
I don't know what mine
Rarity
is.
would probably question a bit why I shipped her with Twilight multiple times.
Hey, but Mono's okay with it. Monochromatic. so.
Sure. Yes.
Flam.
Flam, stop being dead.
Shit. Fucking Mike. I'm sorry. What was
You
going
lost
on?
you lost your chance.
That's fine.
Next.
That's fine.
Uitol, would you eat it? Are we trying to be set up to say the
Yes.
N-word again? I'm skipping that. No, fuck you. Okay, Bendy asks, would you sleep next to a pony and endure their farts all night long? What the fuck?
What'd be the point? Unless you're there's some people who keep trying to convince Seth that he should totally do a post on it.
Oh, no. And last but not least, question from Latrius. You could hug a bat pony, would you? And if you could hug a changeling, would you?
I don't see why not, except the changeling might turn into a magic moose. But yeah, I'd hug the bat pony. You just got to watch out for those wing claws. Scratch up your back. That's another thing Seth is obsessed with. He really likes the idea of helping the bat ponies clip their wing claws.
Jesus, what?
That's creepy as fuck.
They stick them in your ear and take out your earwax.
Guys, we
And
did
time!
it! We did it!
And time! We've hit our 2-hour mark, guys. We did it!
Woo!
We got through all the questions in the allotted time.
Because Pascoite
So-
is a stud like that. Jesus, you kept up. You really did.
So,
It's exhausting.
It is. I'm sorry.
so without further ado, Pascoite, thank you so much for coming on. And for once, we had a guest that gave actual legitimate writing advice.
How
Right.
was that, kids?
So,
Cassius didn't?
No.
I am so surprised.
okay, so what I really like about having Equestria Daily Month is the amount of shit you guys have all said about each other.
Yeah, you guys talk shit so much.
I keep bugging Cassius about a story he never even wrote that was called Twilight Sparkle Burns Down the DMV.
You see that picture? I know that picture! I love that picture!
That guy drew the cover art for Cassius for that story, and then Cassius never
I
wrote
wanted
it.
to,
No
like,
way.
did somebody write this? They didn't?
No,
Maybe
Cassius
I should-
never wrote it.
No. I thought to myself, maybe I should write this, and then I never fucking did because I was scared I would step on somebody's toes, and now I know! Now I know.
So
I'll
which
do
one you
it.
should
I'll
write?
be an asshole. I'll do it. I'll never finish Office Love.
Anyway.
Thank you for
being on
what. Yeah, thank you for being on the cast, Pascoite.
It was a lot of fun being here. Thank you.
No
But
problem.
join the Barcast, everybody. There's a link, blah, 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 blah. Give us the readout, Proust!
Thank you for watching this week's Barcast. Be sure to tune in next week when we have Seventh Heaven, because Seth had to reschedule. Awkward.
He did? That's amazing.
So, your bartenders for this evening have been a non-pencil,
Fuck you all with a stick.
Mike Snipe,
I don't want to have a stick hit me.
Enigmatic Otaku,
Don't forget to shake that stick twice.
Flamin' Werfer,
Joke's on you all. I shook about 6 times. Cast.
Ravage,
Das vidania, comrades.
of course, the wonderful Pascoite.
Rains.
My name's Flutterpriest. We've been joking this whole time about shaking pee out of our dicks. That was the joke. Have a good week.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.